stopped it.
Hello, good afternoon. Today you are here with Charger Chat. My name is Elora Wykes with my co-host Adrian Penny. Today we are here with our guest, Elora Wykes.
Hello.
All right, let's start this interview off. So, when did you first join the military?
I joined the Army Reserve back in October 17th of 2009.
Wow, so a very long time. So, where have you gone while in the military?
I have actually, in May, I went to Poland doing some work there. It was an international operation, Operation Anaconda. And otherwise, I've just been in the United States, just going to different forts around the United States for different types of training. So Fort Bragg, Fort McCoy, Fort Huachuca, all around.
So what was your favorite place to go to?
I really enjoyed Fort Bragg. I was there for a language course, and the people there were wonderful. Yeah, very sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what exactly is your job?
I started out as a 35 mic, which is a human intelligence collector. So then I reclassed recently, actually just this past August, September, to an analyst. So that's a 35 Fox.
So you said 35 Fox. Are those like code names?
They're called your MOS. That's your job in the military, your specialty. Yeah. See, everyone is trained as a soldier in the military. You have to be a soldier first. So that's why everyone goes to basic training, and then after that you go to it's called your AIT, which is your advanced individual training. That's your specialty in the military. So for me, that was human collector or analyst training.
All right. So you said everyone does basic training. What was that like for you?
That was really hard because I turned 40 at basic training. So I was the oldest one there by far. And it was hard, not just because, the physical effort, but everyone there was the age of my children, like teenagers. And it was hard because they argued a lot. And I just wanted to intervene and be the mom, but I didn't have that role with them. So I just had to kind of like be the wise older person and just try and be smart about it. So it was hard.
Yeah. So have you always been reserves or?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain the difference between a reserve and an enlisted?
Okay. There are two types of soldiers. So there's active and reserve. When you're enlisted, you're not an officer. So you're either officer or enlisted. Enlisted are your sergeants, specialists, privates, that sort of thing. And your officers are your first and second lieutenants, captains, majors, that sort of thing. Active Army is where right after you get done with your AIT, your advanced individual training, you go straight into the military and you're placed on a base. It could be anywhere. It could be in Germany, Alaska, anywhere in the United States. As a reservist, I was just sent to my unit, and that is where all reservists have, where they go to their unit 1 weekend a month and 2 or 3 weekends a year. They're training with their unit, doing their, not just their soldier training, which is your basic, but also your advanced infantry training, what you're trained for at AIT. Did that help?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
good.
That made sense.
Okay.
So you leave every weekend of a month, or not every
One weekend a month.
One weekend a
Yeah.
month. So where do you go? You go to your unit.
Yes, when you're in the Army Reserves, you're assigned to a unit depending on what your MOS is, and that unit needs that MOS for that time. It's even at that rank, that unit needs so many soldiers with that MOS, and so that type of soldier is assigned to each unit. So before I was just at an MI unit, and now I'm at an Expeditionary Sustainment Command, so it's different. I've never been in one like this before, but it's a different kind of mixture of soldiers. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Good.
Good. So, do you make a lot of friends in the military, or is it just you by yourself, or do you make relationships to get through it?
It's all what you put into it. I do have a lot of people I enjoy. I do have friends, yeah. And I've learned, though, that a lot of soldiers kind of get burned out because it's hard because the Army has its needs and you have your needs, and you try and combine them and it doesn't always work. So a lot of soldiers are dissatisfied, but a lot of them are knowing that they're serving their country, and that gives you a good feeling, self-worth, that sort of thing.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, when you were in basic training, you said it was really hard and that other soldiers get burnt out because of this. Is it?
At basic training, it was dealing with the younger soldiers that had never been away from home that long before, and had never had to be in a bay situation, open bay, where it's just you and 50 other people of the same gender, and you're not getting enough sleep, enough food, and you're cold, and everyone's cranky, and you're getting yelled at a lot. So it doesn't make for, happy people.
Yeah.
And you can't see your family, so
Yeah.
it's hard.
That sounds really hard.
It
So you said you can't see your family. How long were you away from your family? What was the longest period of time?
Basic training is 8 or 9 weeks, and then your advanced individual training ranges from, I don't know what the shortest is, maybe 8 weeks to like a 35 November. Those are people that are doing high-tech stuff with equipment. It can be almost a year, their advanced individual training, so it can be a long time. So, yeah.
What was it like being away from your family for so long?
It was awful. Yeah, it was really hard.
Sorry. It's awful. Well,
So you're saying that's awful, but like, what's your favorite thing about the military?
My favorite thing about the military is how, in the midst of the awful, they come together. There was a term I learned, it was called embracing the suck. And you do. You know it's hard, and there's a camaraderie. Like in the movies, they call it a band of brothers, because there's something that draws you together like nothing else can. And it's being in the military and knowing you're all there willing to lay your life down for your country, and you just do it, and that has this weird uniting factor. So that is the best thing about the military too. It's so hard, but it's so unifying.
How has the military changed over the years?
That's a good question. So just since the time I've been in, the military policy towards women has changed, where we can now be in combat roles, and Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. So a lot of big changes that a lot of people are still struggling even to know what that means regarding different kind of policy, male, female. Before, there was just the policy of officers can't interact personally with enlisted, meaning they can't, loan them money or do stuff like that, and it's gotten more complicated. But the military is just trying to follow where society has gone as a whole too.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, this is really going well, really interesting. So we are going to go to our first segment, expectations versus reality. I saw you put that on the
Well, guys, Stacy's having another party this weekend. You want to go?
Bro, yeah, I'll bring my waters. Alright, students, any of you guys got questions?
Oh, I totally got this. I understood what you said the whole time.
Alright, students, any of you guys got questions?
I don't even know what I need to know, but I don't know it, but I need to know. What? Whole grain?
Hello, welcome back to Charter Chat. We're going to continue our interview with Elora Wykes. So a question I have for you, you talked about don't ask, don't tell.
Right. That was the policy that the military adopted. Again, that's where society was at, about homosexuality in the military. So basically, if you didn't talk about it, it's fine. If you didn't, act on it with anyone in your, unit or bother anyone, that's how it was. And that has changed to a more open policy, but I'm not sure what that is now. Yeah, I just know that's been repealed.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any other issues that you've noticed throughout the military?
Issues. I think the military has been concerned about the role of women in the military and making sure that they are accepted and treated with as much respect as the men. And from what I can see, at least where I was at in my unit, that wasn't an issue. I felt very respected. And I don't know if that's the same for women that are in different MOSs, say more, your drivers, the vehicle drivers, they can drive anything out there. And there's a lot of equipment that can be driven in the military. I don't know if they're treated with as much respect. I would hope so. But I loved how I was treated in the military. There's a certain level of respect that you give each other that's not necessarily what society gives you. I don't know. I think soldiers, it's hard. So, yeah, because you put yourself under the authority of I don't want to say the UCMJ, the medical law instead of what is granted to every citizen of the United States under the Constitution. So we have harsher penalties and whatnot for when we do the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. You say penalties. What type of penalties or punishment do you get if a soldier either gets out of line or does something against the rules?
It depends on the severity of the wrongdoing. We will get ranges from like counseling statements from our unit that we're assigned to, all the way up to the UCMJ. Like, so when you're kicked out, you're released with honor, without honor, that sort of thing. You're imprisoned. So yeah, it doesn't just go through like the Supreme Court or anything. It's all in-house, and it's pretty strict. Yeah.
They don't do it through court. It's just the military society. They don't do it through.
There's like a military
government?
court. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else in your family serve in the military?
My father served in the military. He was actually in the Korean War. He was in the Air Force, and that's where he learned to fly, and he worked for Boeing for a long time. His father didn't serve, so I think it's just my dad and me. Yeah.
What made you want to join?
Good question. I think it was just a God thing. I really felt like this is where he was leading me, and there was no reason for it. Like when I was in high school, I wanted to join ROTC, which it's just where you become an officer, basically. But then the school I went to Western, they didn't have ROTC program for it. And so I just kind of put it on the back burner and said, okay, well that never happened in my life. And then it was like God called me to it, and then I joined, and then life got really hard and it changed radically, but I'm still glad I did it. It's an amazing organization. Yeah.
So when you joined, actually, let me phrase that. When you were thinking about joining, were you on the fence about it?
Yes. Yeah, I really didn't want to. And it's something that only happened through a lot of prayer. I felt like that's what I was led to do.
So, like, what finally pushed you into actually doing it? Was it just a final decision saying, okay, fine, I'll do it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, it was very strange. It's not the normal way anyone, I think, should join the military. I mean, everyone should pray about it, yes, but it's weird how young you can be when you join the military. Like when I was at AIT, my roommate was 17, and she was doing like the split service thing where she served. It was in between her junior and senior year. She went to training, and then she went to her unit after she graduated. I mean, that's crazy. That's so young. That's like you guys.
Yeah, it's a big commitment.
Yeah.
So, like, you said she was 17, she's our age, and if you start that young, do you think, like, if you're starting that young, that means you want to stay for a really long time? It wants to be, like, a life choice?
I think so. To me, if you were to go into that early, if you knew at that age that's what you want to do, that's smart. That's good. And especially if you go into an MOS like that where it's intelligence and you don't have to wear out your body. I know a lot of rangers and people that they start out young and strong, but they get broken, especially, parachuting, a lot of jumpers. So if you're starting out that young, as soon as you can, change into an MOS that will help you stay in the military without injuring yourself. So intelligence. Yes.
Did you ever go parachuting?
No. I've been on a helicopter, that's it. And I was strapped in, and I was not jumping out.
What's your best experience that you've had?
My best experience. I really enjoyed going to Poland and seeing what it was like there. I loved being able to go to Warsaw and to see how they've overcome World War II, because it was just devastated in World War II. So lots of good smaller experiences. I don't know, nothing sticks out in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good one.
How long were you in Poland?
I was there for just only 3 weeks. Yeah.
What was your favorite part about it?
Again, it was seeing how, it was beautiful there, and it had been completely redone, but that part of Warsaw, they made it exactly like it was in World War II after it was bombed. So you can see pictures of right after Hitler decimated it, and like almost everyone died in 9 out of 10 people died in Warsaw, and you could only see like 1 foot of the foundations because the bombs had just leveled it. They rebuilt exactly where the foundations were, and that just totally gave me pride in Warsaw and saying, we will overcome anything you throw at us.
That's really cool.
I really like that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to transition into another segment. We'll continue talking later. Thank you. Hello, welcome back. All right, so I have a question.
Yes.
Very serious. What is your favorite MRE?
Ooh. The one everyone hated to get was the scrambled egg one. That was a basic. I don't think they even have that one anymore.
Ooh.
My favorite MRE, probably the vegetable penne, and these come with like peanut M&Ms too and stuff. So they're pretty cool.
M&Ms.
Yeah.
I know.
And MRE stands for
Meal ready to eat.
meal ready to eat.
Yes.
And they have like all sorts of different things, right? It doesn't. It's not
do.
just a meal. They have snacks and drinks, hot, cold drinks.
Yes, yes, they have those heaters that are chemical heaters, and so once you add water to them, they react and they cause steam, and so you insert the packet of food you want to heat up within and then it'll be heated up in 5 minutes, and then you're given packets of like flavored drink, and then a plastic bag that you can Ziploc shut and shake it up in and drink that, and then you're given like M&Ms, and yeah, these are meals that are intended for soldiers that it's a 2,000 calorie at least meal. So it's for soldiers that are out in the field where you're doing a lot of work, and either you can't get hot meals or it's just not feasible. So
How much do they cost? Like, are they expensive thing for the military, or are they just?
I don't know what the military gets them for, but I have seen them in specialty stores. They're at least $10. So I was surprised. They're not that good, but I mean, they're good. They're not that good.
Yeah, they're meant to last.
I
a
think
long
they're
time.
expensive because, yeah, they're a survival food and they will last a long time. Yeah, because everything is individually sealed within the pressure sealed container.
They're meant to last a long time, but your son Jason, he had eaten one, and he got sick.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
I don't think he heated up. Yeah. It was not good. So he won't eat them anymore.
No.
Poor kid.
Either.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
What did he have? Some kind of meat patty.
Yes. Yeah.
Yucky.
Yeah.
The question I had asked earlier about how expensive are they, what else does the military, do you think, spends a lot of money on?
They spend a lot of money on our training. I know it costs a lot to pay the instructors to rent the room, to pay me to go to gain the instruction. So because it's not like I can take time off of work or whatever else and lose all that money and get my instruction. So the Army pays me to get instructed, and it pays everything else associated with the instruction. If I have to fly there, drive, they pay for it all. But that's how important it is that we get a good training in what the operational war environment is for this day and age. It's expensive. Technology is expensive, and that's where it's all going. It's not just getting your firing practice in, making sure that you can, pass with a certain score with your weapon. It's a lot more than that these days. Everything's more expensive. Yeah.
You have a question?
So what advice would you give someone who's thinking about joining the military?
I would say to really research it based on what you like and your score that you get when you are trying to join the military. A lot of people join just because they think it's it's a job, and they're right, it is, but you will not like it if it's not one that is associated with what you're like on the inside. Is this something that's going to give you joy? And I know the Army's going to pay you to learn this and do it, but the military will drive you crazy if you're not willing to be a team player and be humble and work hard and deal with people that are young and immature. So,
Is there something that keeps you motivated when it gets hard to your job?
yeah, it's knowing I'm supposed to be there. I was done with my 6 years of active time, and I was going to go into the inactive ready reserve, but I had joined school at WGU, and then I realized, well, the Army won't pay for it like they said they would if I'm not active reserve. So I got active again, and I knew it was what I was supposed to do. Just keep an open mind to whether you're supposed to be in or out, and I don't know, go with what you think is right. I don't know. The Army is worth it regarding insurance and like retirement if you can stay in that long. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
So just put a lot of thought into it. You're worth it. Don't just say, hey, this will be fun, because it won't be with that attitude. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to go to another segment.
Okay.
Goodbye. All right, welcome back to Charger Chat. We're still here with Elora Wykes. All right, do you have, in the military, do you have someone who you really admire?
That's a good question. I admire not one specific person. I mean, there are so many great people. So yes, I do admire people. To me, it's easier to admire the sergeants of higher rank, because they're the ones, they're called the backbone of the Army, and the officers are called like the brain, you know. And the soldiers, the sergeants are the ones who put into practice everything that the officers want done. So do this, and the sergeants are the ones that have to organize the soldiers, encourage them, and empower them to get the job done. So there are a lot of sergeants that I admire for their diligence and making sure the job gets done well, and it's how the officers want it. So, yeah.
Do you have any last input you would like to say?
I would say that if you have a desire to serve your country, that you should, and that you should definitely search yourself and know how you operate and what makes you tick, so that your time in the service is going to be enjoyable for you and everyone around you, and that you serve how you want and get the job done, and everyone is benefited by it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on to our show.
You're welcome.
Goodbye,
Thank you.
everyone. Have a great day.
You too.